Hello, hello. So, how are you guys? I think you're fine. And this episode, actually, in the fifth episode, I would like to speak about war. It's one thing in ARA you'll be facing. Doesn't matter. It might be the AI which actually declares war on you, or you might actually like to capture some capitals. So, as you can see, I have actually this I think is one of the best example I could have. Um, the Yai with the Syrian Empire, they declare a skirmish on me. Okay, so in this war, I will be the defender, and Assyrian Empire is gonna be the attacker. And I also declare war, also skirmish on the uh, Roman Empire. Okay, and I've already captured the capital Rome, as you can see here. I really did some maneuvers, but I gonna explain you a little bit more about this in this video. So let's discuss a little bit about war in general. As you can see, there are these icons over here, which they're gonna tell you uh, for how many um, turns uh, you actually gonna have to fight this war. So after a certain number of turns, the war is finished, except that is an exception, the war of annihilation. So let me show you in the diplomacy tab. If I go for instance at Elizabeth, I do not know if I can declare a war of annihilation with yeah uh, um, with Isabel, but the war of annihilation has an infinite number of turns, so this is not limited in time. On the other hand, all other types, skirmish, holy war, war of expansion, war of retaliation, they have a certain number of um of turns. In order to declare a war, you actually need to pay a certain amount of prestige, okay, which is important. For instance, for war of annihilation, uh, this this payment, you're gonna have a big, sometimes quite a very big minus on your prestige. Remember, the prestige is gonna keep your rating as a nation. You don't want to get to the forgettable nations, to the last place, just to declare an infinite war of annihilation against another nation. You would like to keep your war as short as possible, and you need to have a good reason, not the war of annihilation, which is literally, you go all in to wipe out that other nation and declare war on it. So, the AI thought it's a very good idea, the Syrian Empire thought it's a very good idea to declare on me skirmish. So, what's the first option? Let me check if we can open this. And yeah, for the moment I have no action. So a war already it's taking place between our nations, and what I have to do is just to defend for 25 turns. You know how politely is this game? You can say goodbye to a guy which actually you are at war with. The same thing on Julius Caesar. Actually, it's me which actually declared war on it. On him. Sorry, not on it. I was referring to the guy. But this is the time. So some turns have been passing. I the war between me and the Syrian is gonna be finished in 7 turns. You will have here the countdown. The war between me and the Romans is gonna be finished in 9 turns. Okay, and depending on the results, if you are gaining, for instance, a city, it's gonna be considered that you won that war. So it's only the city which actually matters. If you capture a city or if you raise the city, you gonna win that war. Okay. On the other hand, if the opponent is capturing one of your cities or it's raising one of your cities, it is gonna be considered as lost the war. The number of troops, as far as I know, or the improvements which might be destroyed during the altercation, um, they will not count as to win or to lose a war. So you do not have to be worried if, for instance, uh, the AI is damaging one of your regions. You actually can repair the improvements at no cost after the war is finished. So, and I think it's gonna take a number of times. It's gonna be annoying because during the period of preparation, you are not gonna receive any benefits from your improvements, but that's life. That's why you actually are declaring war of some skirmish in order to create some problems in the opponent cities to slow down a little bit his economy. So uh, now let's have a look to the fights. Um, and I would like to. So we have an active fighting here. It's between me and the Syrians. The fighting with the Romans in the capital I already finished. Um, and in this fight, you can see here there are this up here you have this bar, okay, with green, yellow, and red. Now, the damage which you're gonna give for the next turn. So next turn uh, each part is gonna lose some power, let's say, from the formation you deployed, or better, the formation you deploy, they're gonna take some damage. The formation your opponent deployed, they're gonna take some damage. It's representing the red. The red part is actually the minimum damage you're gonna take. Also, you can see you have some kind of a yellowish part here, which is gonna be the maximum damage you're gonna take. So it's gonna be a roll, and you're gonna lose the red or also the yellow part from your strength of the formation. Now let's talk a little bit the strength of a formation. Okay, I have actually a full heal formation here, so it's at a full strength, and I want to show you something about it. Or maybe no. Let's start discussing a little bit about formations. Okay. Um, I think I was saying in the previous episodes that once you make a unit, that unit is not going to be automatically deployed. Okay, you're going to need actually to select a city. So doesn't matter which city is producing that unit. That unit is going to go automatically in reserves. The reserves, they're going to be available for all your cities, and you need actually to deploy the formation into one of your cities. Okay, you cannot deploy it outside of your city, so it is in the city center where you have the great heart, where or you have the um, how is called that one for the smaller cities? Let me double check. The gathering hall. Okay, so you deploy actually your unit in the center of the city, in the region which, which represent the center of your city, not in another region, just in that region. Um, Now you're gonna have available formation. So this is a formation. The unit is deployed in a certain formation. The squad is composed by a single unit. From the squad you have the battalion. Okay, the battalion is composed from 3 units, and the things becomes a little bit interesting here. You have this uh, these are not the only formation you're gonna have during the game. These are the formation I discovered. Later on, you're gonna discover formation of 4, 5 units, and I think the top is something like 6 units into a single formation. That's gonna give you one a formation is being considered as being one land force. I'm gonna name it formation from now on. not land force. Okay, so this cap here is for formation. Now I have 9, so I will be able to deploy 9 formations, not 9 units, 9 formation. Okay, I can have in reserve how many units I want. I can have hundreds if I would like. I will not be able to deploy them. The maximum number I will be able to deploy is 9 formations, and the maximum units in the formation I can deploy for the moment is 3. So 9 multiplied by 3 equals 27. So theoretically, I can have deployed only 27 units, okay, in 9 formations. Good. This is important to remember. So you can make as many units as you can. Those units, they're gonna reside in the reserve, and you can deploy them as formation, one by one in the city's centers. Okay, not somewhere else. For deploying a formation, uh, the time is called mastering. It's gonna take you 4 turns. So uh, a deployment of a new formation is going to take 4 turns. Doesn't matter I don't think it matters the size of the formation. So even if I will deploy a squad, which is 1 unit formation, this one, that's going to take me only, for deploying, that's going to take me 4 turns to, to be used. Okay, once it's gonna be deployed, it's gonna appear on the map just like this. So it's gonna behave as a normal unit. Okay, now for the squad, you can deploy anything here. It has no alternatives, so you do not have multiple choices for the squad formation. Here you can put whatever you want. Here you see there is no small icon like in the battalion. We're gonna see it a bit later. Okay, and it's not gonna give you an advantage. So if you was to deploy the archer in Madrid, the archer is gonna have a strength of 6. The default the default value which is written here. So every single unit has a strength, has a speed, and has a range. This is for the archer. For the they do not have a range for the mini. Okay. Now let's go to the battalion because I think they're gonna get a little bit much more interesting. If I can. Oh, but come. I don't know. There is a problem. I think when I'm because it's not working like this. To be honest, when I'm doing the video, when I'm getting the feed from the game, it's working very the UI is working very hard. Or anyway, it's a little bit difficult to do that with. So let's talk a little bit about battalions because which is multiple unit formation. It's 3 unit formation. So If we go here and we have multiple tactics. So the squad doesn't have tactics. The other ones have actually tactics, and I can choose from default, okay, line and wedge. The default. Let's talk a little bit about the default because my formation have been deployed in with the tactics default. You have this description here, which will give you some hints. So what is saying? Um, is saying the following. I would like in the slot one to have melee infantry. Okay. I would like in slot two to have a melee cavalry, and I would like in the first slot to have a projectile um, unit. Uh, it is not a constraint. Okay, it is not a constraint. I can put here whatever I want. I can put, for instance, an archer. But the archer is a projectile. As you can see, this icon here, it's gonna describe what actually these two icons. They're gonna describe you in what position, and it's the same icon you can see in my first slot with the icon I have it here. Okay, so in this slot, this one is gonna have a small advantage, and we're gonna discuss about it. If I go back to the default tactics, you're gonna see here you have 10% strength, 10% strength, 10% strength. Now it's not very well explained in the game, but let's see what actually means. So let's open a deploy formation. This formation is battalion. The tactics is actually default. Okay, it's gonna show me the same description: melee infantry, melee cavalry, projectile. Okay, now it has a total strength of 49. This is because it's gonna do this summation. Now, normally the archers, they do not have 18 strength. They have 6. Okay, this is the base value for the archers in the game. But we're gonna have some buffers. I'm gonna have 43% because my unit is 45, and as you can see here, I'm gonna have on these archers 10% because they are in the correct position in the formation. Okay, so having the default tactics, put it in the right position, put it archers, what the tactics is requiring archers, you're gonna have this 10%. not too much, but this is gonna be added. And because I have some security in my capital, I'm gonna have this 20%, and also I'm gonna receive 100% from the Great Heart. The same thing is gonna happen for the gathering hall, okay, in the other cities. So you have all these multipliers, which they're gonna add up, and you're gonna end up with 18 for Archer. So if you want to go and attack a city, so you are on the attacker side, the opponent is gonna have disadvantages, and you need to take this in account. Okay. It's gonna be very hard if the opponent is fortified in the city center to go through uh, that unit. You really need to maybe so against Rome I went with 6 units, and luckily the Romans had their units dissipated. Luckily, I was not actually I saved the game and I retried because they brought some units in the center region where they have the Great Heart, and they give them that 100% buff, and I end up losing actually. Okay, so I change a little bit. I intercept the incoming units, and I succeed to win actually the city to finish the siege. Uh, but let's do not go too much ahead. This formation is gonna be kept even if you are in attack. Okay, so this is only advantage you're gonna keep if you are attacking a city. So if you are on the attacking side, that's your only multiplier, 10%. Okay, because your formation was, and you need to create those formation correctly. Now, as you can see here, my unit is at full strength, but I have 2 spearmen. If you remember in my tactics, um, on the second slot, the formation was requiring actually cavalry, and the spearman is actually infantry melee. And on this spearman exactly, you can see I have 2 spearmen. One is 15.2, the other one is 15.8. The only difference between those two, it's actually the second, it's the this one is in the let's say wrong position, and this one is in the correct position. So this one received the 10%, this one doesn't receive that 10%. Okay, so when you're gonna make a formation, make sure you have the correct units to fulfill your formations. Um, I do not know if I can see. So literally, you can see here the position for which the spearman can be or the the roles which the spearman uh, can have. Can be melee infantry or it can be anti-cavalry. Okay, so these two are the position which actually for which actually you're gonna receive the 10% in our case. The tactics, the tactics buffer. Okay, let's go back to the deployment. Let's go back to the battalion. Now, the tactics are different, okay? So the default, as you can see, require me melee infantry in this position, melee cavalry, and projectile. Great. What about line? The line is gonna require me two melee and one projectile. Now the line needs a little bit different. Come on. Really, the UI has a problem. Don't be shy. The idea, by the way, the idea it's quite very nice. So you see here, they work the same. The only thing for the line is you have 30%, but 45 strength. So do you remember the 33% for being 45 in my unit? That might add actually an extra 40%. Okay, so this formation, this tactics, it's quite perfect for defense, not for attacking, for defense. On the wedge, I have two projectiles and uh, one melee infantry. Okay, the same bonus, 10%. So default and wedge are for going in attack. The line is for defense. So if you want to defend your cities, if you want to deploy some units to defend your cities, you better deploy it on line. So you're gonna need two infantry and one archer, and you can have quite a lot of strength in your fortified position in the city center. And for the AI to get to start to conquer that city is gonna be a really is gonna be really painful. So this is about formations and tactics. Okay. Uh, Next part. Let's see actually a battle. Let's see the battle itself. here in this battle, uh, I have one unit in the default formation. It's too bad I didn't put it actually in the line formation because I had exactly the units I I needed to complete the line formation. So I have this battalion, um, which is fortified in the city center. As you can see, they have 32 strength. That they do not have a complete health. They almost at half of the strength, but they actually um, they actually resist against two battalions. Okay, against two other battalions sent by the Syrian Empire. So with a single battalion, I can hold the city center without any problem, and they brought quite a few of troops. Uh, I think this is the second one. They are bringing. So there was another wave before which have been finished. So literally, when you go attacking an opponent city, if you are in the attack, you really need to bring some a big punch. So, for instance, my troops here, uh, the one, so here to just to conquer Rome, I went with, here I have four, if I can see them. Okay, so here I have four battalions, and I also have two battalions over here. So just to remove one unit, they in reality they actually had a single battalion in the city center, and I came with six battalions against it. Okay, so if you want to go in attack, just go with um, really some extra force, like that, because the also the opponent has advantage of having this 100%. So if I look to my unit, though it is damage to my formation here, which is holding against two other formation of the Assyrians. If I will go have a look to them, as you can see, my archers are receiving quite a buff. Okay. Um, so they are receiving the buff of being fortified. They are receiving the buff of being in battalion, but the most important, also some terrain modification. I think from the region or whatever being. Um, yes, I really don't know. But being just in the city center, they literally get the biggest buff, which is 100%. The total of this, it's almost 200%, so not quite 200%, 25 plus 45, 68. Okay, so imagine you are dealing with the unit, uh, and as for strength, you have almost three times the normal strength of a unit. Okay, which is a little bit difficult to go through. And in order to conquer a city, you actually need to siege that city. In order to siege the city, you need to remove the units from that region, from the city center. So I cannot start the siege of the city without actually removing my units. Removing, so the Syrian cannot siege actually my city without removing my units. And if they have a problem, if they lose the battle against my battalion here, they will not be able to siege my city, so they will not be able to capture the city. Okay, that was a very long explanation. Beyond. I hope the things are a little bit much more clear. I wanted to dedicate this video to the battles. I want to underline that you have a limited number of turns in which you can capture a city. After war is finished, so for instance, I gonna finish the war with the Syrians in 7 turns. There's gonna be a period of cooldown of 20 turns, so you cannot declare any type of war against your opponent for 20 turns. It might not be very important that part, because you also gonna need sometimes to, maybe if you lost some units, you like to create new units to deploy new formations. So this cooldown period might not be very important. And but the most important thing is the number of turns you gonna have during the conflict. So if you do not conquer anything, if your siege is gonna take you just one extra turn to complete, but this time here just finished. We didn't conquer the city. The siege is automatically lifted, and you are in peace with that again. So you need to make a calculation when you attack an opponent. Uh, so in the 25 turns, let's say if I declare just a skirmish, in that number of turns, I should take the city. I should achieve my goals in that war. After that, in order to, as I said, in order to take a city, you need first to eliminate the units which are in the city center, and you need to start the siege. The siege is not gonna take you one turn. Depends on the size of the city. It might take you something like 4, 5, 6 turns already. So that you need also to take into account. It's not only to just to remove the units to kill the enemy unit. It's also to have time to do the proper siege of the city. So this being said, I think I talked a lot, and I hope this is gonna make the war a little bit clear, because I saw some comments on um, Steams and etc. They uh, the, some of the players did not understood all these word concepts in ARA. They are not very well explained. So I hope this is gonna put a little bit of light in the game, in the war in general. Now, for the damage, how this damage is actually calculated. Honestly, I do not know. But I think having a strength, the yeah, the strength bigger than your opponent. So this is the total strength. My single battalion has a 32 strength. On the other hand, the Assyrians, all two battalions have a total strength of 21. So the damage maybe is correlated with the strength of the total units deployed, and I think it is distributed equal around the battalions, something like that. Because here I see in the next round they're gonna take 33 damage. So it's gonna be a total of 66 damage, and I'm gonna take only 27 damage. Okay, I have a strength almost not double, but the difference is I think 50% bigger than the strength of the accumulated strength of the Syrian troops. That's gonna make a little bit of a sense. And by the way, it's better to deploy your troops just because you have this 10%. It's better to deploy your troops into your units, sorry, into a formation than to deploy separate. I had another game where I went with three units deployed as squads. Okay, so zero bonuses whatsoever. Um, and I lost the um, conflict with a village. On the other hand, if I deployed as a battalion, so also three units, only one battalion instead of three squads, I won that conflict. Sometimes this 10% actually, if you deploy it correctly, if you position your units in the formation correctly, they can give you a little bit of help um, to take to win actually some wars. Okay, some battles. Let's say it's better the term because the war is composed by multiple battles. So this being said, have a nice day, and we're gonna continue. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.